Good YouTube, it's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV back at y'all with another one. So we have an interesting situation brewing between undefeated, undisputed junior welterweight world champion British superstar boxer Josh Taylor and undefeated 3-division world champion who simultaneously holds the WBA regular belt at 130, 135, and 140, superstar boxer Gervonta Tank Davis. With that said, we know that there has been, a little bit of tension there since Regis Prograis, former IBF junior welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, took on Josh Taylor in the tournament, the Muhammad Ali tournament for the Muhammad Ali trophy. And Josh Taylor beat Regis Prograis, and Gervonta Tank Davis, via social media, he tweeted out that, he would beat and knock out Josh Taylor if they ever fought. Josh Taylor responded, Tank is too small. He was campaigning at 130. Josh Taylor's campaigning 10 pounds north of 130 at 140, junior welterweight. And it was never truly thought of as a realistic fight at that time, okay? But with that said, now Gervonta Tank Davis has made his debut at junior welterweight, and he did so against WBA undefeated regular champion Mexican star boxer Mario Barrios, in which Gervonta Tank Davis, he knocked out Mario Barrios in the 11th round in dramatic fashion. He knocked him down twice in the 8th round, then he knocked him out and stopped him in the 11th round. Knocked him down twice in the 11th round, ultimately got to stop his victory. With that said, Josh Taylor, he beat Jose Ramirez at 140 for undisputed. Jose Ramirez was the WBC and WBO junior welterweight world champion, and he was undefeated Mexican star boxer. And he beat Regis Prograis as well for the IBF title. So his road, and he won the Muhammad Ali tournament. So Josh Taylor's road to undisputed, obviously his level of opponents have been better than that of Gervonta Tank Davis, okay, as far as namesake goes, okay? So Josh Taylor's the undisputed champion at 140, and all across the board on boxing platforms, including, some major sites, some credible sites, after Gervonta Tank Davis's debut and one fight at junior welterweight, they have Gervonta Tank Davis as the #1 junior welterweight in the world, the best junior welterweight in the world. This didn't go over well with Josh Taylor. Now, Gervonta Tank Davis has twice as many fights as Josh Taylor. Gervonta Tank Davis is staying busy. Now, again, the level of opponents, one can question and say, well, yeah, he's fighting, he has more fights, but he's not fighting a better opposition, right? Josh Taylor is fighting a better opposition. Yeah, there's a case there to be made. But Gervonta Tank Davis's skill set, Gervonta Tank Davis's excitement, Gervonta Tank Davis' star power. See, again, this goes back to what I always say. It's one thing to be a big fish in a small pond. It's another thing to be a big fish in a big pond. Gervonta Tank Davis is a big fish in a big pond. Josh Taylor is a big fish in a small pond, okay? He's a big fish overseas. Now, again, Josh Taylor is a bigger star than that of Mario Barrios, okay? So we know Leonard Ellaby, Mayweather CEO, he stated that, Josh Taylor brings nothing to the table for Gervonta Tank Davis. Well, we know that's not true because he is undefeated, he's undisputed, and he does have a country behind him. But the United Kingdom, UK and Ireland, are very small, okay? There's states, you can combine 2 states here in the U.S. States, there's over 50 states here in the U.S. You combine the states and they are bigger than the UK, okay? So Josh Taylor is a big fish in a small pond. I use the analogy all the time when it comes to Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. Deontay Wilder is a big fish in a big pond in the U.S. Anthony Joshua is a big fish in a small pond in the UK. And Tyson Fury, oddly enough, he just reiterated what I stated by saying nobody here in the United States knows who Anthony Joshua is, plain and simple. So Josh Taylor, 18 wins, no losses, no draws, 13 wins by way of knockout. He's 30 years of age. He stands at 5'10" with a 70-inch arm reach. Last time we saw him in the ring was when he took on Jose Ramirez. That was May of this year, and he got a unanimous decision victory, but he dropped Jose Ramirez twice in the fight. Okay, so again, Josh Taylor's star power is big because he does bring the country behind him. You know, in the UK, Ireland, you know, they do stand behind Josh Taylor. Okay, but again, Gervonta Tank Davis is a superstar here in the United States. Gervonta Tank Davis, 25 wins, no losses, no draws, 24 wins by way of knockout, 26 years of age, stands at 5'5", with a 67-inch arm reach. And again, last time we saw him in the ring, obviously, was when 2 Saturdays ago when he took on and defeated Mario Barrios, okay, in dramatic fashion. So they're both exciting. Josh Taylor, you know, is never short on excitement in his fights, you know, and the thing is, Josh Taylor doesn't bring the same level of excitement as I just stated. Gervonta Tank Davis, 25 wins, no losses, no draws, and 24 of those wins by knockout. So that speaks volumes, and they're not all low-level opposition. It's not like Gervonta Tank Davis is not fighting any level of opposition, okay? Again, I said you can make a case that Josh Taylor is fighting better opposition, but that's not to say Gervonta Tank Davis is not fighting good opposition, because he is, okay? And he's getting knockouts, okay? So, and he's always at a size disadvantage as well, you know? So that you have to take that into accountability as well. So with that stated, you know, this is a fight where Josh Taylor now is calling for this fight, okay? Josh Taylor has to satisfy, you know, his mandatory and Jack Catterall, right? Catterall, you know, he has to satisfy that mandatory, and now he's calling for this fight because he feels slighted, okay? He feels like, you know, Gervonta Tank Davis' star power, you know, he hasn't earned it, okay? And rightfully so. You can understand, because he's new to his division. He stepped into his backyard, okay? He's coming to his house, and already he's getting the biggest piece of chicken. And you can understand Josh Taylor's frustration with the fact that, you know, Gervonta Tank Davis just came in the house. I've been hunting for the food, you know, I've been shopping for the groceries, and I bring everything to the table. And soon as I get it, just a few months later, you know, somebody else comes in, you know, not putting as much work as I put in, and you already feeding them the biggest plate, giving them the biggest piece of chicken, putting it on the plate. So you can understand. Stylistically, I think this would be a very, very tough fight for Gervonta Tank Davis, seeing as though Josh Taylor is 5 inches taller than him. He has a 4-inch arm reach advantage over him. But the difference is, most of the time you have good or great big men beat good or great little men, okay? Josh Taylor has a high ring IQ, not as high as Gervonta Tank Davis. Josh Taylor, you know, has a great jab, puts combinations together, has power, you know, but he does have lapses on defense. Gervonta Tank Davis is much more explosive. Gervonta Tank Davis' power would be somewhat on an equal playing field as Josh Taylor because of the size, okay? I know it's going to come off and look as if he has overwhelming, you know, you can't compare the power. You know, most people immediately say, well, Gervonta Tank Davis have more power at the lower weight classes. Yeah, he did hurt Mario Barrios. He dropped him twice in the 8th round, and he dropped him twice in the 11th round and stopped him. But that's a lot to do with, it's accumulation, okay? He broke him down. It's accumulation. And the same goes for Josh Taylor. He broke down Jose Ramirez as well. Now, Jose Ramirez is a much tougher opponent. He's a unified champion. He's fought much tougher opponent. He's had beat the likes of Maurice Hooker. You know, he's a much higher grade of opponent than that of, you know, of Mario Barrios. Okay, so the resilience is going to be different coming from coming from Jose Ramirez compared to Josh Taylor. Now, Jose Ramirez compared to Mario Barrios. Now, Mario Barrios, he didn't know how to lose, but he was already in big, tough fights. Some fights that people thought that he lost the fight. So there is, a sense of, resilience on the part of Mario Barrios, but not the same level of Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez is just a better fighter. If you put Jose Ramirez and Mario Barrios in the ring, Jose Ramirez is going to be the favorite. So, again, it's accumulation of punches, right? He dropped Jose Ramirez twice with big punches. He's rangy, has a high ring IQ. Now, Josh Taylor does have these lapses on defense, right? Where he gets caught, where he just, has the lapses. He did so against Regis Prograis. But again, Regis Prograis is bigger than Gervonta Tank Davis. Jose Ramirez is bigger, much bigger than Gervonta Tank Davis. Jose Ramirez is 5'10" with a 70-inch arm reach himself. Regis Prograis is 5'8.5" with a 70-inch arm. You understand? So they're bigger and stronger than Gervonta Tank Davis. Okay, he has to work very hard, as he did against Mario Barrios, to get what he received. Okay, but ultimately it's not his skill set. It was his ring IQ that got him where he was against Mario Barrios. Okay, I'm a strong believer in that. I believe that Gervonta Tank Davis' ring IQ is higher than most give him credit for. Okay, so with that said, his ring IQ could see him victorious against Josh Taylor. But if Josh Taylor fights a disciplined fight and uses his physical advantages, it's going to be a difficult night for Gervonta Tank Davis. But you can understand why Josh Taylor is frustrated, because again, he's been putting in all the work in this division, and now you have a guy just making his debut, making a cameo, so to speak, and now you're giving him the biggest piece of chicken on the plate after Josh Taylor's been doing all this hunting and shopping for the groceries. So it's understandable. But again, Josh Taylor, he has a Jack Cottrell. He has to satisfy that mandatory, and then he's calling for the fight. He calls out Gervonta Tank Davis. He wants this fight, and it's a feeling of competitiveness, right? Oh, they think you better than me, or they think you have, advantage over me. I'm the undisputed champion, and he has a case because he's the undisputed champion. His road to becoming undisputed was even tougher than that of undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the WBO welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, Terrence Bud Crawford. Terrence Crawford, he beat some credible opponents to become undisputed, but Josh Taylor beat a higher level of opponents to become undisputed at junior welterweight. So you understand where Josh Taylor's frustration is coming from. But I believe that this would be a huge fight. I believe that this is a bigger fight than Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. I believe that, this is legacy-wise is bigger opportunity for Gervonta Tank Davis as well. He beats Josh Taylor. There's no doubt, no question, who is the best junior welterweight in the world. And he's the biggest star. He's a bigger star than Josh Taylor. And at that point, he would be undisputed. Something that Floyd Mayweather himself never done. So let's see how this plays out. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue. Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
This is Amanda, the real deal Serrano, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.